Welcome to this video on the license management and chargeback accounting capabilities of our product OfficeExpert. My name is Ben Manessi and I work here at Penn Agenda as VP Products and Innovation. I'll be your host today. Now before we actually take a look at what we do around licenses in OfficeExpert, I want to talk to you a little bit about what we're hearing from the market. Is that actually there is a twofold problem with the usage and license related data that comes out of the box. There is a volume issue because license data is only available as a snapshot of who has what assigned to them. There is no historic perspective here. Even Office 365 reports will only go up 180 days. So this is a generic issue with usage data that comes out of Office 365. The other issue that we address with OfficeExpert is the lack of granularity. There are a ton of questions that you cannot answer just based on native data from Office 365. For example, there is no easy way to figure out who your licenses are assigned to, what your sales department consumes in licenses over month, or which of the products are your people actually using of the workloads that are assigned to them. This is where we come in. We gather usage data and license related data from multiple different APIs. Now, if you worked with these, they have all different authorization methods, different structures. So we're going to gather data from all of them, aggregate the data, organize it, store it in our data warehouse for as long as you're running the appliance, and also serve it up as various levels of reporting capabilities. Now, the data warehouse that we have is actually a virtual appliance that can be deployed into your Azure tenant or into a local data center. None of these cases give us any access to your data whatsoever. So having said that, let's actually take a look at what we do with licensing. I'm going to head over to the OfficeExpert portal, and what you're going to see first is the environment overview, where we give you a bit of a blueprint to your tenant, including the amount of users you have registered, groups, some of the issues that may occur, like group naming conflicts. You've got the subscriptions here as well, and you can right away see the consumption percentage. Now, an important thing about OfficeExpert is that while we give you a number of reports, actually it's over 100 reports on the OfficeExpert portal alone, we're extremely flexible with these reports. And so you can always drill deeper. In clicking at the data miner icon, we're going to actually use the same query that we've done on the UI and give you the raw data inside our data warehouse using our product data miner. This ships with OfficeExpert, and it's a great way to directly talk with the data warehouse. You can actually group information by any attribute, such as the subscription type. You can actually join data tables together or even export all of this in any format you prefer. Now, the next interface that we look at is the overall license activity. This is where we start contrasting our granular usage data with the licenses that are assigned to your users. So you can quickly click on the SharePoint consumption, for example, and we're going to essentially filter the table so that we're showing you all the users that have SharePoint licenses assigned to them, and they're probably not using it all that much. There's 81% of these licenses that were actually used in the last 90 days. We can do the same thing with the rest of these workloads, as well as we can export any of this right away. And here is really the trick. Like I've said, Data Miner is the product that allows you to go deeper. But with Data Miner, we can expose this data to third-party solutions, such as Tableau or Power BI, all via secure APIs. So I'm going to show you our first version of our license management and chargeback accounting module. This is going to be soon part of the OfficeExpert portal as well, but for now I'm just going to keep using Power BI, albeit this is a report deck that actually taps into our data warehouse, because the really important thing here is the data. We start with an inventory of what is it that we have. We've got the subscription distribution for the entire tenant, and you'll notice that not only do we know what subscriptions you have, we also put the dollar amount on top of it, which of course you can edit according to your actual pricing. This allows us to look at not just what your people are consuming, but how much you're actually paying for. And the great thing about this is that because we know who these licenses are assigned to, we've got data from the Azure AD about the organizational context of each of these users, so we're going to be able to slice and dice the data and figure out exactly how much you're paying for each little pocket of the organization. But for now, let's stick with this interface. One of the things that you're going to notice right away is we actually calculate the total costs as well as the consumed costs, and the difference of those is actually the savings potential. The major difference between the Office 365 portal and the data in OfficeExpert is that we have historic data. So you can monitor your savings potential over time. And of course, should you have a renewal coming up, this is a great tool to be able to look at what you really need. But even if you don't really care about renewals, the savings potential tells you about licenses that you could use better. And so it basically gives you sort of an ROI on adoption. We've also got anomalies that we're figuring out, such as the licenses that you do not have assigned to anybody right now. This is one of the most common reasons behind unused licenses. We've got double assigned licenses. So what are the licenses that are actually, who are the users that have multiple similar workloads assigned to them? For example, there's an E3 and a premium P1. There could be an E3 and an E5 assigned all to the same user. And then we move into the subject of department chargeback accounting. Now, here we're going to let you pick a department, and we're going to tell you exactly how much they're consuming and what is the monetary amount that you're paying for these departments, so that you can essentially just save this page, send it to whoever's in charge of purchasing for that department, and have them cover their consumption costs. It's also a great way to delegate the need for adoption. Now, of course, because we're super flexible on this, and remember, we're just working with a bunch of extremely rich data sources here, I could always select the department feature or the field here, and instead of department, I could say that I need something more granular. I want to create my reports not just based on department, but I want to also be able to select the country. Now, I'm going to be able to change the order of these. So when it comes time to actually do the drop down here, I can select my Austria people, and I can quickly see who are the departments in Austria and create those respective chargeback accounting reports per country and department. We could use any other Azure AD user attribute here and any number of combinations of these attributes as well. So we're extremely flexible in the reports that we allow you to do. We've got the by user and subscription interface, where you can look at the monthly distribution of subscriptions assigned to users. You can quickly look at specific types of users. For example, with E3, immediately visualize the time and cost savings for this particular subscription, as well as we're also working on a workload comparison, where not only do we tell you what these people have assigned to them, but we're actually going to, I would have to refresh my data here, but you would basically see the level of activity for each of these users in contrast to what they have assigned to them. So if I select E3, I'm going to get all the people with E3 assigned, and I'm going to basically see what are the workloads that these people are actually using. In later releases, this is what we're going to do, what we're going to use for sort of AI-generated suggestions. For example, if we find that you've got users with E5 assigned to them, but they're only consuming workloads that would be enough with an E1 or an E3, that's a recommendation for a direct cost saving right there. Now, this was a super quick overview of some of the things we do around license management and chargeback accounting. In our next release, we're going to have an entire module built around this very topic. And so it's going to get way more rich and functional. Would love to hear what you think, but for sure, in the meantime, you can sign up for a managed trial or request a business value assessment of your Office 365 environment, and definitely request pricing or just reach out to us and let us know what you think about all this. Thank you for your time today, and I hope to see you on the next one.